Unlock inner strength with these 7 Stoic mindset shifts. Let me ask you something. Do you ever feel like you're just reacting to life? Like you're being tossed around by waves of stress, by difficult people, by situations you have absolutely no control over? For a long time, that was me. I felt like a ship without a rudder, completely at the mercy of every storm. It was this quiet, sinking feeling of powerlessness that I think a lot of us know. It's the anxiety of a looming deadline, the sting of an unfair comment, the frustration when a plan completely falls apart. You end your days feeling drained, not from working hard, but from fighting a constant battle against things you simply can't change. I hit a wall. I knew something had to give. I was just tired of being a puppet to my own circumstances. And that's when I stumbled upon Stoicism. Not the modern caricature of a Stoic who just bottles everything up, but the ancient, practical philosophy for living a good life. It was a philosophy designed not to get rid of emotions, but to build a fortress inside your mind, a citadel of calm and strength that could withstand any external chaos. So, I decided to try something. I'm challenging myself, and I'm inviting you to join me to put 7 of the most powerful Stoic mindset shifts into practice. This isn't just about theory. This is a real-world test to see if we can actually build that unbreakable resilience. In this video, we're going to explore these ancient principles together and find out if a 20-year-old philosophy really holds the key to unlocking unshakable inner strength. Let's get into it. Mindset Shift 1. Focus only on what you can control. The first and most important shift is what the Stoics called the dichotomy of control. It's so simple, but it changes everything. The philosopher Epictetus, who was born a slave and became one of the most respected thinkers of his time, put it perfectly. Some things are within our power, while others are not. So what's in our power? Our opinions, our choices, our actions, basically, our own inner world. And what's not? Almost everything else. What other people think of us, our reputation, the economy, the weather, the past, the future. For me, this was a complete game changer. Think about how much energy we waste trying to control the uncontrollable. I used to get furious in traffic jams, as if my anger could magically clear the road. I'd chew on a thoughtless comment from a coworker for days, trying to retroactively change their opinion of me. The Stoics would say this is exactly where our suffering comes from. We try to command things that aren't ours to command, and we hand over our peace of mind in the process. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius wrote in his private journal, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This isn't about being passive. It's about being strategic, like an archer. The archer controls their training, their focus, their aim. But once the arrow is released, they can't control a sudden gust of wind. Their job is to perfect their own actions. The final outcome isn't totally up to them. The exercise here is to constantly ask yourself this one gentle question. When you feel that spike of anger or anxiety, just pause and ask, what part of this is actually up to me? You'll find that the external event almost never is, but your response, your judgment, and what you do next, those are always yours. This shift is about taking your power back. It's about stopping the fight with things you can't change and focusing that energy on the one thing you can, yourself. Mindset Shift 2. Practice negative visualization. All right, the second shift sounds a little dark, but stick with me, because it's one of the most powerful ways to build resilience and gratitude. It's the practice of premeditatio malorum, which basically means thinking about bad things in advance. This isn't about being a pessimist. It's a deliberate exercise where you imagine losing the things you value most. Why on earth would anyone do that? Well, the philosopher Seneca, one of the richest men in Rome, did this all the time. He'd imagine losing his wealth, his friends, even his life. He did it for two big reasons. First, it vaccinates you against the shock of things going wrong. As Seneca said, when you've mentally rehearsed a worst-case scenario, if it ever happens, it's not a terrifying surprise. You've already thought about how you might handle it with a clear head, which stops the panic that makes bad situations even worse. Second, and maybe more importantly, it makes you incredibly grateful for what you have right now. We all get used to the good things in our lives, our health, our homes, the people we love. They just become background noise. But when you spend a moment thinking about life without them, you suddenly see them again as the precious, fragile gifts they are. The hug you give your partner feels more real. The simple fact that your body works feels like a miracle. You stop taking things for granted because you've reminded yourself that everything is, as Seneca said, on loan from fortune. The exercise is transformative. Each morning, just take a minute. Think about what could go wrong today. You might get stuck in traffic, or a meeting might get cancelled. Mentally prepare for those little things. Then, go a bit deeper. For just a moment, imagine losing something you cherish: your job, your home. Don't wallow in it. Just use that thought to spark a powerful feeling of gratitude. Then, open your eyes and appreciate that today, right now, you still have it. This practice strips away the anxiety and replaces it with a deep appreciation for the present moment. Mindset shift 3. Reframe your negative thoughts. The third shift is basically the ancient ancestor of modern cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. The core idea is simple. We aren't disturbed by events, but by our judgments about them. Epictetus said it over 20 years ago. Men are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of them. That's a huge claim. It means our emotional turmoil doesn't come from the outside world, but from the stories we tell ourselves about it. Think about it. Two people can go through the exact same thing, like losing a job. One person might see it as a catastrophe, a sign that they're a failure, and spiral into depression. Another might see it as an opportunity to find a more fulfilling career and feel liberated. The event was the same. The internal story was different. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are pained by any external thing, it is not this thing that disturbs you, but your own judgment about it. And it is in your power to wipe out this judgment now." This is reframing. It's about becoming a detective of your own thoughts. When you feel a wave of anxiety or anger, you learn to pause and pinpoint the specific thought fueling it. Then you can ask, is this thought actually true? Is there another way to see this? Is this thought helping me or just causing pain? Journaling is a superpower for this. When you're struggling, try this exercise. First, describe what happened, just the facts. For example, my boss sent me an email with critical feedback. Second, write down the emotion, anxiety and anger. Third, and this is the key, identify the story you're telling yourself. My boss thinks I'm incompetent, I'm going to get fired. This is a disaster. Finally, challenge and rewrite that story. My boss is giving me feedback to help me get better. This is part of growing. I can use this to improve. It's an opportunity, not an attack. When you do this consistently, you break the automatic link between an event and your reaction. You realize you are not your thoughts. You are the one who gets to observe and evaluate them. Mindset shift 4. Cultivate emotional detachment. This fourth shift is probably the most misunderstood idea in all of Stoicism. Cultivating emotional detachment does not mean becoming a cold, unfeeling robot. It's not about pretending you don't have feelings. It's about creating a little bit of space between an emotion and how you respond to it. It's the difference between being caught in a storm and watching it from a safe place. Think of it like this. You're standing on the bank of a river. That river is filled with your emotions, anger, fear, joy, sadness. They're always flowing by. Detachment is the ability to stand on that bank and simply watch them go by, without jumping in and getting swept away. You can say, "Ah, there's anger," or "I see I'm feeling fear," but you don't let it become who you are. This pause gives your rational mind a chance to step in and decide what to do, instead of just reacting emotionally. Marcus Aurelius would practice this by breaking things down into their objective parts. An expensive wine is just fermented grape juice. A fancy meal is just the dead body of a fish. He wasn't being cynical. He was stripping away the emotional drama we attach to things. A practical exercise is to imagine a protective bubble around you during a stressful conversation. It's not a wall. You can still see and hear everything, but the emotional charge, the insult, the bad news hits the bubble and fizzles out before it can hijack your inner peace. You let the feeling pass over you without getting inside you. This practice is key to staying calm when the world is anything but. It allows you to deal with difficult situations without sacrificing your own tranquility. You can be compassionate without absorbing someone else's panic. You can be effective without being emotionally dysregulated. It's a superpower. You're not suppressing your feelings. You're just refusing to let them run the show. Mindset shift. 5. Embrace challenges as opportunities. The fifth shift turns our natural instincts completely upside down. It's the idea that we shouldn't just put up with obstacles. We should actively embrace them as chances to grow. Marcus Aurelius captured this perfectly. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Read that again. What stands in the way becomes the way. It's not a detour, it's the path. Every single challenge or setback isn't some unfortunate interruption in your life. It's the raw material you have to work with. It's the perfect opportunity to practice virtue and build character. That difficult person at work? They're your chance to practice patience. A sudden financial problem? It's your chance to practice resourcefulness. Marcus also compared a rational person to a fire. He said, "A blazing fire makes flame and brightness out of everything that is thrown into it." An obstacle, when thrown into a Stoic mind, doesn't put the fire out. It becomes fuel. It makes the fire burn brighter. This changes your entire relationship with adversity. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you start asking, "How can I use this?" Seneca believed that a person who has never faced a real challenge is unlucky because they've never been able to prove themselves. It's like a wrestler who never gets a tough opponent. They'll never know their own strength. It's only by pushing against resistance that we get stronger. The exercise here is a simple reframing question. When you're hit with a challenge, just pause, take a breath, and then ask yourself, what can this teach me? How can this make me better? Maybe it's teaching you patience. Maybe it's forcing you to be more creative. By seeing challenges as your personal training ground instead of a threat, you rob them of their power to hurt you. The obstacle isn't in the way, it is the way. Mindset shift. 6. Cultivate inner stillness and mindfulness. The sixth mindset shift is all about cultivating inner stillness. In a world of constant noise and notifications, being able to find a quiet place in your own mind isn't a luxury, it's essential. The Stoics knew you can't navigate a chaotic world with a chaotic mind. This isn't about trying to empty your mind, which is impossible anyway. It's about learning to watch your thoughts without getting tangled up in them. We spend so much of our time worrying about the past or anxious about the future, two things we have zero control over. Mindfulness is about pulling our attention back to right here, right now. Marcus Aurelius talked about this inner fortress as a place you could retreat to any time for peace. He wrote, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." That inner sanctuary is always there for you. You just have to practice visiting it. This is where meditation comes in. You don't need a special cushion or a silent room. You can do it anywhere. Just dedicate 5 minutes a day to being quiet. Sit down and focus on your breath. Your mind will wander. That's what minds do. It'll jump to your to-do list, a conversation from yesterday, a worry about tomorrow. The practice isn't to fight those thoughts, but to gently notice them and then kindly guide your attention back to your breath. Every time you do this, you're doing a rep for your attention muscle. You're practicing the art of letting go. Over time, that daily stillness starts to spill into the rest of your life. You'll find you can focus better. You'll be less likely to get hijacked by a random emotion. You'll have a calm center you can return to, even when a storm is raging around you. This stillness creates the clarity you need to act with wisdom and courage. Mindset shift. 7. Take ownership and responsibility. The seventh and final shift ties all the others together, taking radical ownership. Stoicism, at its heart, is about empowerment. It says that you, and only you, are responsible for the quality of your life, because you are responsible for your judgments and your actions. It's the ultimate move from a victim mindset to a creator mindset. So many of us get caught in the blame game. If something goes wrong, it's our boss's fault, our partner's fault, or just bad luck. That thinking is tempting because it lets us off the hook, but it comes at a huge cost: our own power. If it's always someone else's fault, then we're helpless to change things. The Stoics rejected that completely. They taught that while external events aren't your fault, your response to them is always your responsibility. Instead of complaining about a situation, the Stoic asks, "What can I do?" Instead of blaming someone, the Stoic asks, "How can I act with integrity right now?" The practical exercise here is to catch yourself the moment you start to complain or blame. When you feel that frustration rising, just stop. Ask yourself the ownership question: what part of this can I control? What is my responsibility here? Shift your focus from the problem to your response. If a project at work is failing, don't just blame your team. Ask, how can I lead better? What proactive steps can I take? Taking ownership doesn't mean taking the blame for things you didn't do. It means you accept responsibility for your own life, no matter what. It's understanding that you don't always choose your circumstances, but you always choose how you respond to them. This is the ultimate declaration of inner freedom. It's realizing that no matter what happens, you are the master of your mind and the architect of your character. So, we've just walked through 7 powerful mindset shifts from the Stoics, a complete toolkit for building real resilience. This isn't just philosophy, it's a practical guide for a better life. And my challenge, for myself and for you, is to not just hear these ideas, but to actually live them. If this journey resonated with you, please take a second to like this video so more people can discover this wisdom. And if you want more content on building inner strength, make sure you subscribe to the channel. But most importantly, I want to hear from you. What's one obstacle you're facing right now? And which of these 7 shifts do you think could help you turn that obstacle into the way? Share it in the comments below. Reading your experiences helps us all learn and grow together. Conclusion. We started this journey feeling stressed and powerless, tossed around by life. We looked to the ancient Stoics, not for a magic pill, but for a training manual. And what we found are 7 perspective shifts that, when you practice them, can build a truly resilient spirit. We learned to focus only on what we can control. We practiced negative visualization to build gratitude. We learned to reframe our thoughts, to embrace challenges as fuel, to find stillness in the noise, and to take radical ownership of our lives. These aren't just separate tricks. They're interconnected pillars that hold up your inner citadel, a fortress of calm and strength that external chaos can't touch. The Stoics teach us that strength isn't something you find, it's something you build, day by day, choice by choice. The tools are here, the power is already in you. The challenge is just to begin. Thank you for joining me. Stay strong and stay stoic.